Good day, folks. Sean here from Air Photography. So today is another leak video, rumor video of the new upcoming DJI Avata. There's a lot of new information that has come out over the last couple days, and most of the stuff I'm going to be discussing today is courtesy via Drone Excel. He's the one that kind of shared all this information. He was kind of the first one to break all this new information. Definitely go and check out his website. He's got a lot of really good articles about drones in general, but a lot of good information about the upcoming Avata. I'll include a link to his website down in the description of this video. Now also, before we get going, just a few housekeeping things, some disclaimers. Everything we're going to be discussing is just speculation and rumor. Nothing is official until it's confirmed by DJI, so don't make any purchasing decisions or selling decisions based on what we're talking about. Releases like this can get delayed, things can change, so just take everything with a grain of salt. Now the other thing is, not everybody likes leak videos. They feel it ruins the surprise, and I totally get that. So if that's somebody like yourself, then definitely don't watch this video because there's going to be a lot of revealing information in it. However, myself, I'm on the other side of the fence. I love leaks. I love finding out new information. To me, it helps build excitement. So anyways, if you're not aware, DJI is releasing a new drone, an FPV style drone called the Avata. This is going to be their second venture into an FPV drone. And on top of that, we're getting a new set of goggles called the Goggles 2. And that's not to be confused with the DJI FPV Goggles version 2. I think they could have maybe come up with a better name for them because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people getting confused. This drone has the potential to be really good. For some people, it's not going to be for everybody. Again, if you're an FPV enthusiast, something like this is probably not going to be too much of interest to you. But for those who just want to capture some nice cinematic footage, get the thrill of flight, this drone might be the perfect choice for you. As you can see here, we have a front view. There we have a nice side view of the drone, and it kind of reveals a lot. You can see it's kind of hollow in the middle there. You can see right through it. But it does appear to be very modular, and that's what a lot of people are hoping for, is that all the components can be easily repaired by the user and not have to be sent into DJI. If you look at it here, you can see we have this kind of frame here, and you can see where it's bolted down. We have a camera assembly here. We have this module up here, another kind of subframe here, and of course we have ducting and the legs. So hopefully all this stuff is going to be easily replaceable by the user. Here we have a kind of a bottom down view. We can kind of get a look at the sensors there at the bottom and a closer look at the props. And as you can see, the props are a little different this year. It appears that they are bolted on instead of quick release. Again, we can see the camera there, and the camera is a one-axis gimbal. So it's going to be kind of a hybrid stabilization using the one-axis gimbal and also Rocksteady 2.0, I believe. Here's a top-down view of the drone. You can see that the propellers now have 5 blades compared to 3 of the original. We have the battery there at the back. And there's another top-down view, but this time there's no battery installed. And there's no props installed either. Now here we have a back view, and this is really the first time we've got a good look at the back. You can see we have the power button there, and then some LEDs at the side to signify how much power is in the battery. And it appears here it has the same style of connector as the original FPV drone. So now we get into some of the packages, and as you can see here, we have a package of just the Avata drone. Comes with the drone, a battery, a charger, cabling, 2 extra propellers, and a gimbal guard. And apparently this is going to be available to be purchased singly by itself. And the price of just the drone itself is going to be about $629. And that actually is nice because if you own the controller, the motion controller, and the set of V2 goggles, it's going to be all compatible with the Avata. In fact, they're actually selling a version of the Avata with the older style goggles, and we'll take a look at that here in a minute as well. So there's a top-down view of all the components of the single drone kit. You can see we get 6 propellers again, battery, charger. There's the bolts, I'm assuming to hold the propellers in. So this next picture here shows us another combo, and apparently this is called the Fly Smart combo. And as you can see here, it comes with the V2 goggles. So that's this set here. That's the one that comes with the current DJI FPV drone. And it also comes with the motion controller. Basically the same motion controller that's already been available. And this package is rumored to come in at $1168. Now if we go back here, you can see basically the same thing, just a top-down view of all the components. Now the next package here is the ProView combo, and it comes in at $1388. And it's the one that comes with the new style of goggles, the Goggles 2. Again, not to be confused with the Goggles V2. And the components that come with it are a little bit different. We get these eyepieces here. I'm not quite sure what those are for. I think they're for wearing glasses. Some lens protectors there. And it looks like it comes with the same battery from the V2 goggles there. So that's kind of nice if you have spares of them kicking around. You don't have to go and repurchase them. You can see the cable that plugs the battery into the goggles is a little bit different. It's now one of those coiled style cables, so that's kind of nice. And the strap is different. It's now only just a single strap across the back of the head. So a lot of people are going to like that because that was one of the things that a lot of people did. They upgraded the strap on the original V2 goggles to go to a single strap system. So that's actually kind of nice. That should be a little bit more comfortable. And for those of you who just want to upgrade to the new goggles and the motion controller, they're going to have a package of these two bundled together. And it's going to come in approximately $759. If you just want to purchase the new style of goggles, basically you're going to be looking at $649. One thing that is very odd, if you notice with all those packages, none seem to include the controller. I'm not quite sure why DJI is doing that this year. To me, the controller is one of the most important components that you would think you would want to include instead of a motion controller. All the packages come with a motion controller. But most likely the controller will be an add-on. I find it just very strange, and there actually hasn't been much in the way of confirmation that this controller will be compatible. I'm assuming it will be, and we did see some leaks a couple weeks ago. You can see that the controller, this controller here, the V2 controller, is in that photo there. And there was another leaked photo where it appeared the guy was using this controller to fly the drone. So yeah, it's very strange why DJI is not including a controller with the packages, according to these rumors and leaks. But who knows, that may change. Could just be as simple as DJI is trying to keep the price down, so they're including the motion controller instead. If you want the controller, you'll have to purchase that separately. The only problem with that is a lot of people are going to be wanting to sell the original FPV drone kit that they have. You know, they want to upgrade to the new drone, the new goggles, but now they're going to have to go out and purchase a new remote too, because they can't really sell the old drone system without a remote, or they could, but it's really going to depreciate the value of it. So that will be kind of interesting to see how that all plays out. So just before we go here, a few basic specs of the Avata drone. It's going to have a 1/1.7 inch sensor. It's going to have a field of view of 155 degrees. It's going to have a fixed 2.8 aperture. It's going to have electronic image stabilization, both Rocksteady 2.0 and Horizon Steady. It's going to weigh approximately 410 grams. It's going to have a flight time of 18 minutes, which is actually pretty good for an FPV drone like this. And it's also going to have 20 gigabytes of internal storage, which is interesting. And one big thing that a lot of people were concerned about, and we kind of talked about in my last video, is there was a lot of rumors that it was not going to have manual mode. There was some rumors going around that it wasn't, and there were some rumors going around that it was. Well, according to the latest leaks and rumors, yes, definitely indeed it will have manual mode. But one thing that is interesting is that the speed of the drone is going to be a little bit slower than the original FPV drone, especially if you're going to be flying in sport mode. The original FPV drone could fly at 27 meters per second in sport mode. The new Avata is only going to fly at 14 meters per second in sport mode. Now again, those are just rumored specs. If that's going to be true or not, who knows? But definitely it is going to be a lot slower. And for me, that's a little bit disappointing because that's what I loved about the DJI FPV drone. Even when flying in sport mode, if you're just cruising around, you can get some really nice speed, which is quite thrilling to fly. Of course, with the Avata, if you flip it into manual mode, you'll be able to achieve speeds of the 27 meters per second, which again, I believe that's slower than the DJI FPV drone as well. So everything else is much better except when it comes to speed. But with that said, myself, I'm really looking forward to this drone. I think for me, the kind of flying I do, it's going to be perfect for me. I'm not so much into the freestyle flying that you see people do. Where they're doing all these fancy moves around trees and obstacles and different things like that. I can see that being a lot of fun, but it's not really something I'm into. I more like to do just more cinematic cruising and capture that kind of cinematic content. And of course, the whole fact of the immersive flight experience. So something like this is going to be great for Mavic pilots, people who just want to maybe experiment a bit, get some nice cinematic footage, FPV style footage. Of course, if you're a hardcore FPV enthusiast, probably something like this isn't going to be of too much interest to you. Usually those types of FPV pilots like to build and tune their own equipment, so something like this is not going to be of interest. Now, the latest rumor is that we're going to be seeing it possibly on the 23rd, which is a Tuesday, so not next week, but the week after. So if that does indeed turn out to be the case, we should be getting an official teaser announcement from DJI later this week. Perhaps Tuesday of this week we'll get one. So that will be interesting. So we're not too far off. Now the big question will be is it going to be available upon announcement? If we take a look at the Mini 3, DJI made the announcement and it was about 3 weeks, almost a month in North America anyways, before we could get our hands on it. So I'm hoping that's not the case with the Avata. Now the Avata, I'm assuming, is not going to be as popular as the Mini 3. So the demand for it won't be as high. So I'm hoping that we don't have to wait for weeks and weeks to get our hands on it. Well, folks, that's basically it. Those are the latest leaks and rumors of the DJI Avata. If you are interested in this drone, make sure you're subscribed to my channel because I do plan on purchasing it once it's released. And of course, I'll put it through all the tests I normally do, reviews, tutorials, and everything like that. So definitely stay tuned if this is a drone that you are curious about. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. It's always greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we'll see you in the next one.